Hello and welcome to your Living A Course in Miracles audio book club call. My name is Jared Krebs. I'm in San Antonio, Texas. I'm tapped in, tuned in, turned on, and ready to rock. Excited to be here. Excited to be back. I missed the last 2 weeks. Big shout out to Christian Stanberry and Nathan Lively. Thank you, gentlemen, for hosting the last 2 calls. You rocked it, and so did everybody else who was on the calls. I watched them both, and you guys did amazing. Today we're going to be discussing Chapter 9 of Living A Course in of Lifetimes When Jesus and Buddha Knew Each Other by Gary Renard, and only the first 18 pages of Chapter 9, because Chapter 9 is 36 pages, and that's too much for any person to read in 1 week. So we're doing 18 pages. That was a joke. But anyway, so we are doing the 18 pages, though, and I'm excited to talk about them. And so I want to hear from you. What's your name, what city that you're in, and why are you excited about today's call? Who wants to go next?
My name is Christian Stanberry. I'm from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and I'm really excited about today's call because my muscles are bigger. They're not. I haven't touched a weight in a long time. But yeah.
Awesome. Glad that you're here, Christian.
Thanks, bro.
Yes, sir. Good to see you. Love the hat. Go Clippers.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, go Jazz, bro. Utah Jazz right now.
Nice.
That's where I'm from, so got to rep.
Very cool.
All right, who's next?
Yeah, I'm Langdon Tompkins. I'm at La Valade, a little village in Brittany, France, and I'm excited about the Chapter 9, especially the first bit. I really got into that. So we'll be talking about that in a minute. So, glad to be here. And welcome back, Jared.
Thank you, Langy. And 2 a.m., my man. Represent France.
I want to go to bed.
Love the commitment. All right. Who wants to go next? Nathan or Linda?
Hi, it's just me, Linda. I'm doing good, so I'm glad to be here. I like to learn new things every day. Of course, the miracles have really been a terrific inspiration, so you're never too old to learn something new. My grandmother told me that when I was 13. I'll never, ever forget that moment.
Wow. What did she tell you? You're
never, ever too old to learn something new.
Oh, okay.
That was 43 years ago.
Oh.
Yeah.
I like it.
I'm 56 now.
Thank you for sharing, Linda. Glad you're here.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Hey, this is Nathan Lively. I'm in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I'm excited to be here to talk to you guys about Chapter 9 and I guess forgive you for stuff.
Yes. Thank you for forgiving me and for holding down the fort the last couple weeks.
You're welcome.
All right. So let's get right into it, guys. I'm on fire. I'm on fire with my reading. I'm reading it was 4 pages a day of this book. And then I was reading 2 pages a day of this book, which is the actual Course in Miracles. And then I was so on fire this week that I made that chart that I posted on Facebook, and that was from Chapter 20. So I've just been beast mode on my reading, except for the last 2 days I have read nothing. So I did good though, 5 days in a row, man. I was beast in mode. But last 2 days have been crazy for me, but that's okay because I got my reading done anyway. So all right, so I'll just say that some of my highlights for Chapter 9 that just came to my memory is a lot about being happy. Like remember when he talked about how if you don't have something to forgive, be happy about it, and enjoy life, and don't feel guilty about attracting a bunch of money and attracting a bunch of health and attracting whatever you attract, or whatever you're going for. There's definitely that side of the ego mind, at least in my ego mind, that feels guilty about being really successful or being really happy or being, trying to make this world work, which we know ultimately it doesn't because we die and whatever else. But at the same time, it's not about that. It's just about forgiving whatever comes up. And if you have nothing to forgive right now, then freaking rejoice and go with it, because pretty soon I'm sure you will have something to forgive. So that was really a great highlight for me. It kind of reinforced that I don't feel bad about doing all my law of attraction stuff, because I'm such a proponent of that. That's such a big part of my business and stuff. So that was one of the main highlights on the first 18 pages. I circled a lot of things, and I have more things that I want to share. I'm not going to share all of them because I don't want to steal all y'all's what y'all are going to say either. But some of the things that I circled in my reading is, it is our task to heal through forgiveness and vision that sees not the body, personality, or past history of our brothers and sisters, but the oneness that shines from behind and beyond them. So I've been really working this week on seeing people as pure spirit, like perfect spirit, perfect oneness, perfect love, and seeing them as they are instead of seeing them as a body. And the way I do that is I look at them, like I look at my wife, and I say in my mind, you are perfect spirit, perfect oneness, perfect love. You are Christ. Everything is forgiven and released. And I kind of say that in my mind while I'm looking at that person. And then I do that with my father-in-law. Then I do that with my mother-in-law. Then I do that with my parents. And I do that like whenever I can remember to do that. Sometimes I do that when I'm like in crowds. I'll see people and say, you're perfect in my mind. You're perfect spirit, perfect oneness, perfect love. And so that, I think, is what it means by true vision. Like it's vision beyond the veil of our bodies. And in chapter 20 that I'm reading of the course, it's like, if you see them as if you see your brothers and sisters as bodies, then you don't really see them. So like that, all that is like really blowing my mind right now. So that was one that really came out. Another thing that really got me on this one is, if you think you have to give something up, that's making it just as real to your mind as when you make a false idol out of it. But there is a narrow road, one you can take, where you don't make it real and you end up enjoying it even more. I like what they say about the narrow road, because basically that means that I can enjoy, again, like I had already said, all those things that I attract, or that like I visualize every single morning. Like every morning, guys, I close my eyes and I visualize all these things happening. Linda, I'm going to mute you because for some reason there's a lot of background noise. And then
I'm sorry.
It's okay. When you want to talk, you can unmute yourself. All right. I think she's set. Okay. What I was saying is, every day I close my eyes and I'm like visualizing all these things, like, and I'm like really excited about them. And then I say to myself, okay, this is what the ego body, Jared Krebs, wants. This is what the ego wants. These things are what the ego wants. It's just like the ego needs to eat food. The ego needs to breathe. The ego needs to drink water. The ego needs to whatever. And I say, Holy Spirit, take charge. That's the ego script. Please give me spiritual sight all day long. Please give me true forgiveness all day long. Please help me see everything as it is. And then I go about and I just go kick ass in business. So that's kind of like where I'm at. And it was good to hear that on page 157, that it's a narrow road when you don't make it real and you end up enjoying it even more. Because I know it's not real, but I still got to kick ass in business. So that's what's up. The ego body has to kick ass in business because I appear to be here and I appear to need to have bills and to pay. Okay, so there you go. There's what I got from chapter 9. I have a lot more, but I want to hear what y'all have to say too. So who wants to go next? What was your highlights from the first 18 pages of chapter 9?
Nice. Yeah. My first highlight, I don't have many highlights from here, but a couple. Chapter 9, the title's The Importance of the Mind. And then the quote is my main highlight right under the title of the chapter. Your mind and mine can unite in shining your ego away, releasing the strength of God into everything you think and do. Do not settle for anything less than this, and refuse to accept anything but this as your goal. Boom.
Boom. The first quote.
Yeah, that's huge.
Wasn't that from like the end of the Course in Miracles, or what part of the Course in Miracles is that in?
I'm actually not sure.
Okay.
But
it doesn't say?
Wouldn't surprise me if it's the end. Maybe I could find out really fast. It says number 1, chapter 9, the first quote of chapter 9. So I'll go check the back of the book really fast.
Cool. Okay.
References, chapter 9, number 1, text chapter 4, section 4.
So chapter 4 of the text.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then the second part is where he talks about ACOL, A Course of Love. And
Oh, yeah.
yeah, and how the review is from the author of Plagues to Miracles, Robert Rosenthal. This is from Plagues to Miracles, and this is Bob Rosenthal, co-president of the Foundation for Inner Peace now, one of Bill Thetford's personal friends. He was really young, though, when he knew Bill Thetford, and they were really good friends, but Bill didn't treat him as like a kid. He treated him as like an equal. And yeah, Bob, as I've said, really resonates with me and stuff. I feel there's a connection there. But yeah, his review about A Course of Love is really cool because it clarifies for a lot of people. Like I could see how A Course of Love could be a little tricky, like to the untrained eye. It's really easy to get caught up into it. But you can see that it's not really the same thing. It has some truth, but it's mixed in with all this other dualistic stuff too. So, and then there's other versions too, like the way of mastery, or there's another one too. But they're not the Course.
Yeah, the Course in Love, had never even heard of that.
Yeah, A Course of Love. It's like purple. It basically says it's like a continuation of the Course, and it's steering a lot of students towards that. It basically like says that it's better in the Course. It sort of implies that because it's like continuation or like a more advanced course or something, but that's and I've seen a lot of students kind of like fall for that, but it makes a lot of students feel like nothing's been I've been doing the Course in Miracles for so long and nothing's been happening, but now this course is promising. So it's almost like a new ladder, it feels like, to a lot of Course students, but it's yeah.
Well, I'm glad that they talk about it in this book to keep us focused.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then the end of this, they talk about Est, where like the Holy Spirit was kind of like leads us a little bit if we're able to listen. And how Gary did Est, which was like the landmark forum. I did the landmark forum before. It's basically like, yeah, but it wasn't very healthy for me, you know. It's because of my history of mental health problems. It wasn't the best thing for me. Like it kind of triggered a little bit of like psychotic symptoms a little bit. And it's almost like enlightenment in a weekend workshop. It is helpful to a lot of people, but it does say there was kind of like cultish aspects to it too. Some people were a little weird, like some of the leaders.
Oh,
and stuff.
dude, me and Crystal are like landmark grads. We did all 4 of their programs. We did the first one, the whatever they're called, the advanced one, the one where you do a community project. Well,
Yeah.
well, guess what, Christian? This group was the community project from Landmark.
Oh, cool.
The reason we even have this group and it exists is because Landmark made me choose something I'm passionate about and create a community thing. And
that's really cool.
yeah, and Landmark, my experience of Landmark is that it was good to help the dream work better, but it doesn't help awaken from the dream or dissolve the ego. But it's great to help the dream work better. Like I have some skills that I'm able to do with people that put the past in the past and help me with being a better businessman or a better husband, or, I could see how it would trigger some psychological things too, because it is very confronting when you have to confront all these things.
Yeah,
but
there's like no time to sleep and stuff like that too.
What was that?
There's like no time to sleep either.
Yeah, the weekend event is like very long and all that. So.
Yeah, and
but yeah, no, it's definitely had been a great program for us. But yeah, not what the course does.
Yeah, and I think probably Est was like better and stuff, but yeah, I don't really know for sure. But yeah, very motivating. It was fun. It was really interesting about like the last day they had like some kind of conversation that like at the end of the conversation like puts everybody into like a different state of mind. And I certainly was in a different state of mind after that conversation, where like everything was like alive, including the walls, like, but it also reminded me of a state similar to that of when I was in the hospital, like even the coffee tasted the same. It was really weird.
Wow.
Yeah, and then
hi, Mom.
Hey, good to see ya. Yeah, so but anyways, yeah, it is helpful for a lot of people, and obviously it was a step that was necessary in my path at that moment. And it was cool how like I did it at like the Ramada close to the airport, which Gary did too, like his at a Ramada close to the airport in his city when he did it and stuff. So it was kind of like interesting in that sense. Dolphins are the most intelligent beings on the planet, but since they lack thumbs and fingers, they don't make tools, and they wouldn't make weapons if they could. Yeah, just a few other predictions here and stuff. So yeah, fun chapter.
Heck yeah. Thanks, bro. Thank you, Christian.
You too.
Who's next? First 18 pages of chapter 9.
I'll go next.
Mama.
Well,
You look lovely.
thank you much. I haven't been on this call in a long time, and I missed you all. I had to catch up, so I didn't take notes. So I'm just going to like look and see what was the most profound for me. I did like how Gary talked about the course on love, kind of to give us the heads up in case we run into it. Kind of prepares us to not lose our way, I guess. But one of the quotes that I really liked on page 163 is that there is a way of living in the world that is not here, although it seems to be. You do not change appearance, though you smile more frequently. Your forehead is serene and your eyes are quiet. And the ones who walk the world as you do recognize their own. Yet those who have not yet perceived the way will recognize you also and believe that you are like them as you were before. So there's some subtle stuff there. So everyone really recognizes everybody, no matter whether you're kind of on the same path or not.
Yeah.
So it doesn't like cause separation at all. That was profound. I think that's about it that was really profound. I don't think I got as far as I should have. But anyway.
It's funny that you said that one paragraph that you read, because I had to read that one like over and over and over, like, and I don't think I completely comprehended it until just now when you read it.
Really?
So those who know you or who think like you will recognize you as their own.
Uh-huh.
Like Course in Miracles people will
right.
say, "Oh, you're a Course in Miracles person."
Yeah.
And And then those who don't know that you're thinking all these forgiveness thoughts and all this, they'll still think something's cool about you. Like, that person
Yeah.
seems cool.
Yeah.
And then what was the third part? It was like,
I lost it now, just a sec. Okay, and yet those who have not yet perceived the way will recognize you also and believe that you are like them. So they won't even like give it a second thought. They'll just, because of your presence and your being and the memory that they have, like subconsciously or in their memory bank, they will recognize you and believe that you are like them. So there really is no separation in their thinking either, subconsciously.
I guess I didn't get it like that. I thought that this was explaining that you could be working with the Holy Spirit and still be here in the world. So to the people who are kind of still stuck being an ego, it seems like you're fitting in with them. And to people who are, you know, maybe higher up on the ladder, they can also tell that you're with them. So I thought it was just describing a way of being with both groups.
Yeah,
you know, without,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's kind of what I was trying to explain.
thank you for clarifying, Nathan. And yeah, I'm glad that we got to talk about this particular paragraph because that was one of the ones I didn't get. So thank you, Mom.
You're welcome.
Anything else?
No, not really. I mean, no, I think that's good for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to have you back on the call and glad that my ego body's back on the call. All right. Thank you, Mom.
You're welcome.
Love you. Who's next?
Oh, sorry about that. I was trying to unmute myself.
Angie.
Yeah, shall I go next? Yeah, the was it the Course in Love? That interested me a great deal. The idea that somebody would want to write a book that was an extension of something that's unextendable seemed slightly bizarre to me. And I suppose it really does show what ends the ego will go to keep us in the loop. Apparently the book's written really well, and you know, I've not read it. I like you, I'd never heard of it. But the whole book of you know, when Jesus met Buddha is all about how the two people went through quite a lot of lifetimes to actually get to where they are now. And most of the religions or beliefs or philosophies that they dealt with had almost all made it, but there would be one thing missing. And ultimately, the one thing that I think was left to deal with was this total non-duality. And all Gary's books are pretty much about forgiveness and knowing when to do it and why to do it and all the rest of it. Course in Miracles is all about undoing the ego. But this book, this latest book, is really identifying, and in that particular, you know, bit about talking about the course of love, was really getting wise to this subtle duality creeping in. When you're so close, you've worked it out, and then you just have to. The ego will make you, develop something that wasn't there before, and you'll get really interested in it, and you'll want to stay in the loop. And then all these people just go off and do their own thing, and they're all happy. Oh, we found this, and it's all wonderful. And then there was what Christian said to me earlier in the week. He said about, I can never remember her name when I need to. The lady who channeled Jesus for Course in Miracles.
Helen Schuckman.
Helen Schuckman, yeah. And she told Jesus off because she said, it's not working for me. And he said, well, you're not doing it. You're not doing the course. You're taking it all down, but you're not actually doing it. And I think that's what people do. I mean, I read the Course in Miracles really quickly when I first got it. And it was like, as I said to Christian earlier in the week, it was like pulling teeth. And I got to the end and I thought, well, nothing's happened. But of course, I hadn't done the course. I'd read it. I do the course every day now. I practice what I've learned, and I'm still getting better at it. But I'm still only a student. I'd like to be a teacher, but I'm still a student.
Yeah, this is what A Course of Love looks like.
Ah, right. Yeah, it's a nice color.
Oh, you've read it, Christian.
I've only read like the first 4 chapters. I don't think I'm gonna read it anymore. Actually, it's not even on my bookshelf. It's ready to be given away or thrown out.
So does it have like the text and the workbook and?
I think it's just like a text. Yeah, it's just a text. And yeah.
I think the fact that it says it's supposed to have been channeled as well, isn't it?
Yeah, and I do believe that it the intention of the author was good, Mary Perron. Like the intention was good, and some of it like is the Holy Spirit. It's just not the same as the Course.
No.
Not pure non-dualism.
There's no substitute for perfection, is there?
Yeah, and there's a reason why the Course is called A Course in Miracles and not A Course of Love. Right? Because it's about undoing your ego.
Yeah. I mean, the love and joy and all that's all mentioned, but it's ultimately about undoing the ego.
Yeah. And no, I haven't read it all, and I don't think I ever will, because I have A Course in Miracles, right? And that's my path.
Yeah,
and,
me too.
And it just doesn't read as smoothly. Like the Course kind of like has a very clear definition for every word, like consciousness, mind. There's a very clear definition for those words in the Course. And this one kind of like goes against those words a little bit. It uses words sort of like in a different way, like heart. It attaches great significance to the body or an elevated self.
That's another thing, the whole point of the Course is that we are not bodies. I mean, you said the thing about dolphins. I've also always thought that dolphins are at one with their environment. Human beings aren't. We need houses, we need cars, we need clothing. Like you said, we need opposable thumbs. Dolphins,
yeah,
are one with their environment. The spirit would be too.
Yeah, and some Course students will, like you were saying, they kind of get off track a little in the future or later on. And like I noticed some Course students online that are holding on to the idea, like Gary was saying, this is kind of creeping into the Course community. And basically what it is right now is like a lot of people are saying, oh, no, yeah, like everything about the Course is true. Yeah, this is true, that's true. But
yeah, that's the
but we're all going to be enlightened as bodies. We're all going to be like enlightened as bodies, or like like individuals in heaven kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And like that's not what the Course teaches.
No.
And or like there was one the other day I saw where someone was saying like if you get sick or you die, then you're not enlightened. Like someone was disagreeing that Ken Wapnick was enlightened. He's saying no, Ken Wapnick couldn't have been enlightened because he had cancer and he died. And it's like I don't think that's what the Course teaches too.
No.
What kind of cancer did Ken Wapnick have?
I actually don't know.
He was a bad mofo.
Oh yeah.
Why would he not be? Why would they say he's not enlightened because he had cancer? That makes no sense.
I
Yeah,
think
well-
you get the wrong end of the stick is that we're supposed to be the cause and not the effect. So if you're if you're sick, it's like you've caused it yourself. But I don't think it's quite that. I think everything we experience is like a lesson as to how we react to it. So, people can be sick but react to it, with forgiveness, and the symptoms can be relieved by that. In the same way as Jesus, was put on a cross, but he didn't feel any pain. They nailed him to it and did all sorts of, they stuck a spear in him. But he'd got to a point with his forgiveness that, none of that was, he wasn't making any of that real, and it wasn't real. And he could, it just went over his head completely. I think that's my interpretation of it.
To me, that would be a judgment on people that have cancer, which is still a judgment that needs to be forgiven. But
yeah, but you don't give it to, if you're being ill is no more different really than being struck by a bus. It's all ego that creates it, and I'm not really certain if I'm explaining this very well, but it's not something that you should be beating yourself up about.
and it could be part of the script as well.
Yeah.
The Holy Spirit has, you leave it up to the Holy Spirit. Well, if the Holy Spirit, you leave it up to the Holy Spirit. Doesn't necessarily mean that you create it if it's in your script.
Yeah.
And health is also nothing. Health is nothing. Sickness is nothing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's like hunger, and thirst.
We're not even bodies, man.
Exactly. Yeah, like I think that gentleman was attaching too much significance to the body or the illusion, like saying like that it even has a cause. Because what has no effect can have no cause, right? And like we were saying last week, an illusion is an illusion is an illusion. So he's saying that there actually is a body out there that is actually sick and actually died. But there really is no body out there at all whatsoever. And so there is no illusion, so there is no effect.
If we're only mind, and we look in a mirror and we see ourselves, we see an illusion. Our mind is imagining what we see in a mirror in the same way as our mind is imagining we've got an illness, or I've got an itch, or I'm hot, or I'm cold. Some of these things are trivial, but they're all the same. There's no hierarchy of illusions. And what all we have to do is be aware of what is going on so that we react to it correctly. And the way to react to everything, the key to everything is forgiveness. It's that simple, but it's difficult because the ego will set traps for us every second of every day. And he's been doing that to me all week in very, very simple ways.
Thank you, Langy.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Shall I do my forgiveness in the field while I'm at it?
Not yet.
No, okay. Well, I'll mute then.
Awesome. Thank you, my bro. Okay. Nathan or Linda, what were your highlights from the first half of chapter 9?
Hey.
Yo.
So let's see. Because the mind knows everything, including the fact that there's just one of you, it will interpret anything you think or say, no matter how subtle, about another person, to really be about you. That was great for me. And right before that, they mentioned Carl Jung, and that made me want to read some Carl Jung. So I think I'm going to do that in the future. Let's see.
I read some Jung. I just found it so hard to understand, man.
Is that because you don't speak German?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe that was it.
You're like, these words are all spelled wrong. I also like the suggestion about asking for guidance. It helps you remember to look to Spirit for guidance when you can, when you have time to. You think 2J often, and that's good. You're connected. Of course, people can just talk to the Holy Spirit if they prefer, which is what I do. And then this last one that I liked a lot is he's talking about how he starts his day and actually what he does when he connects. And he says, I just forget about the world, forget about the things I need, the things I think I need, and just go to God. Just get lost in God's love. I'm in a condition of gratitude. And I like that a lot because I think I keep adding pieces of the ego into things that I'm trying to do with the course. And so even like when I connect, a lot of times I'll be like, Holy Spirit, like, tell me what to do with this thing. I need to know so badly, like this thing with my business, or like this person, like, tell me what to do. And like, I'm really like wanting, like, fix this thing in my life for me. And then when I read things like this, it reminds me like, oh, it's like so much easier, you know? It's so much easier to live a life of just connecting with the Holy Spirit and in gratitude and not asking for anything. It's so much easier to not going around forgiving people. Like, that's actually a lot of work. So those are the sections that I like from chapter 9 so far.
Love it. I love what you said about the mind too, and how on a deeper level, we're all connected. And when we see someone and we think you're a piece of crap or F you or whatever, we're like really doing
I would never think that, Jared.
We're doing right. I know that you wouldn't. But me, on the other hand, no. Yeah, it's wild though, right? I mean, it was good to hear that. That was also a one I really liked and circled. Thank you, Nathan. All right. Who's next? Oh, actually, Linda is next. If Linda, how did you like the first half of chapter 9? Did you have any highlights? Or are you just on here to listen, and that's okay too? You don't have to talk if you don't want to. She may be on here just to listen. Okay, well then let's go on to forgiveness in the field. We actually have 20 minutes and we have 5 people. So pretty cool. All right. I don't, unless someone goes like off on some crazy tangent, we probably won't do a timer. I do need to end right on time at 8 o'clock though, so maybe we should do like a 4-minute timer. All right, so I'll do a 4-minute timer just in case it goes long. So my forgiveness in the field, hold on. Okay, timer's going. Forgiveness in the field. So we got back from Mexico, and basically my mom started having some fluid in her lungs, and I'm sure she's going to talk on this. She had to get it drained, and we just kind of felt like we were back to square one on her treatments, and it sucked all week for all of us. Like my mom and dad, my sisters, myself, like we're wondering what the hell's going on. Did anything we do in Mexico even really help? I mean, we're second guessing things, questioning things. Just like horrible, you know? And so it's like a slow burn. It's like, okay, where do we go now from here? But one thing I do know is that I'm going to forgive the inconvenience, forgive the frustration, forgive the sadness, forgive the struggle, for whatever we have to forgive on this. And I mean, it's not even me who's going through it, but it's my mom, you know, and she's right here on the call. So maybe I'll pass it on to you, Mom. But like, it's a slow burn type of thing. It's like, man, and we felt like we made so much progress, and then it's like to feel like your rug gets pulled from under you, you know. So Thank God for this course. Thank goodness for this course, and that we're not bodies. and that, you know, you're perfect spirit, perfect oneness, perfect love. You are Christ. Everything is forgiven and released. Fully innocent, you know, and that we're not bodies. And actually being able to see that, to know that on a conscious level. Doesn't necessarily make it easier, but it does make it easier in some ways. So that's kind of what happened this week with my forgiveness in the field. Mom, do you want to go from here?
Yeah. The great thing about the course and what's been going on with me for the last year is that I can recognize that I'm a body and that this is not real. And
You mean you're not a body?
no, I'm not a body. Did I say I was a body?
Or maybe I heard that I don't think you would have said that, because clearly you're not a body.
No, wait, let me see. Okay, so no, I'm not a body. So that kind of is a little comforting, even though I have to like continuously work on my mind. And I have from the very beginning left it up to the Holy Spirit. So we get to this point a year later and I'm leaving it up to the Holy Spirit. So I'm thinking, okay, so the Holy Spirit, obviously, I've left it up to the Holy Spirit. So what is the Holy Spirit trying to tell me? I'm like thinking, okay, am I thinking wrong? What's wrong with my mind that I can't get out of this right now? Or, I mean, I could, but like, what's wrong with my mind? And then I have to forgive that and say, well, I've left it up to the Holy Spirit. Am I second guessing the Holy Spirit's work? I'm making it day to day. I'm using, you know, the tools. I'm doing the course. So obviously I've forgiven everybody that's involved and everything that we've done. And I just reflect and say, well, what did I learn from all this? I've learned that I've left it up to the Holy Spirit. I mean, because obviously you can't control everything the outcome. And there is a script. So for me, I'm not mad at anybody. It's just part of the journey. And you got to leave it up to the Holy Spirit. It'd be crazy not to. I mean, it's difficult. This is hard. I mean, it's really easy to walk around because I've been to the point where I was super, super healthy. And you get a little arrogant. You get a little bit arrogant and you point fingers at people that are sick and you say, well, what did they do? How are they thinking? And now I'm there. So lesson learned. You can't even do that.
Very cool. Yeah, well, I'm happy to see you, Viola. It's been a while.
Yeah.
I think
And Mom,
good work.
you are learning all your lessons, man. You are right. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I
No.
am learning lessons. Yeah, for sure.
You know, I mean, you're excelling all your forgiveness lessons, and hopefully this is your last lifetime.
Yeah, I mean, I get a horrible report, and I'm like, it like doesn't faze me. It like kind of just goes in an ear, and I'm like, listen to the doctor, and okay, where do we go from here? Like, I could really get bitter or angry, but I don't.
Yeah.
And I know that our daughters, they just can't believe like how easygoing I am through all of this, because I mean, I had a lung drained a couple of days ago and just chemo again, starting at square one. Different chemo, because now there's different cancer cells. So, but you know, the thing is I don't want to put all this attention to the body. So, and that's what ends up happening. It's like you keep putting all this attention to the body. It's like a fight, you know, and I can see that. I can step back and look at that and say, well, that the ego really is having a heyday with me. because I'm putting all this, attention to the body. And so that's an awareness that, shy away from the attention.
Well, it's not about the attention to the body or not attention to the body, because also to deny the body is to make it real.
Right.
But what you're doing is you're realizing you're not a body, and at the same time doing whatever you can to take care of it.
Yeah, exactly.
You're doing awesome, Mom, and I'm excited to see you in a week. So.
Yeah, that's a nice surprise.
Yes. All right. Forgiveness in the field. Nathan Christian Lange. Who's next?
Yeah, I've been practicing more, and then I felt like the ego ramped up the aggression a little bit because I was like forgiving more. Like, I finished a long day of poker. I was ready to just play some video games and relax, and my PS4 dies. And then I'm trying to spend like 3 hours trying to repair it and stuff, and it's just not repairing. And so I go to bed a little bit earlier that day, and then the next day I start my poker day, and I wait for half the day before I was gonna have a smoke, and my cats hide my smoke, and I can't find it anywhere, and I was finding it so frustrating, And then I kind of failed that forgiveness a little bit, but I tried it. I was trying a little bit more, and I just keep trying, and I'm not giving up, because I do want to be peaceful, and I do want to be happy, and this course does mean a lot to me, and I really do want to achieve the goal. So that means I have to practice. So I do, and it feels good, and I'm getting excited too. Even like earlier today, I noticed that I was thinking of like anticipating a forgiveness opportunity that I knew was going to come, kind of thing, and I got excited about it. I was like, it actually is an opportunity, because every time I do it, it's going to help heal our mind. So yeah, that's about it.
Well done, sir.
Thanks. And I've been reading the course more and stuff too, setting time aside to read. So.
Yeah, setting time aside to read is the only way it's going to get done.
Yeah, because it's been a while since I've read the entire course or the workbook. Oh, I'm finding listening to the workbook really helpful too, because for the past like 6 years, I've told myself that I had to do the workbook, but instead I'm finding it more helpful just to read or listen to the workbook right now.
Didn't Ken Wapnick say that like doing the workbook once is enough, and then just next time read it? Like,
yeah, you can. Generally, you only need to do it once as best you can all the way through, but you can do it more than once as well. But yeah, you really only like kind of have to do it once.
Cool. My friend Michelle Zarin, she used to come on the calls regularly back when we first started. She's done the lessons like 5 times, and she's a beast. She was my initial mentor and inspiration. So hopefully she comes back on the call.
She must be quite a sinner.
She's actually more like a saint at this point, bro.
I think I remember meeting her. She was really cool.
Yeah, she rocks. All right, Lange or Nathan, forgiveness in the field, literally, according to Lange.
Shall I go?
Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, as I progress, I often say I don't really have many things to forgive, but this week's it's just been a bit weird. I've been working with a chap who's quite a nice guy, but he's full of anger, and it's grating against me, and I'm not liking it. It's making me uncomfortable. He's angry with everything. He's angry with his tools. He's angry with his family. He's angry with the world. He's angry with the French. He's angry with the English. He's angry with me sometimes. And of course, I'm feeling like, I suppose it's one of these special relationships that I've been put into. And it's winding me up. I nearly walked out a couple of times. I thought, I'm going home. But I thought, no, look at it differently, you know, all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, that's my week. Every day has been tough in a really trivial sort of way. It's been like chewing, you know, something really unpleasant, you know. So I've had to keep stopping myself and forgiving me, because it's me that's got the you know. He's just being himself, but it's me that's reacting to it with my ego, which has been pretty quiet lately. So that's my forgiveness thing. As for the course, I've been doing the workbook now for the second time, very slowly. In fact, I didn't do it at all today, but I've done it every day up until today. I sometimes have a day off of the course, but most days I do read a little bit. Well, you know, before I, you know, sit with God for 3 minutes, you know, and the cat and the dog. So I pretty much live the course all the time, and the best thing about it is the peace of mind. I've never known such a quiet mind in my entire life. That's it for me.
Awesome, Lingy. Thanks for sharing, man.
Thank you.
Especially with dealing with angry people, and forgiving them and yourself, and seeing them as pure, perfect spirit, perfect oneness, perfect love.
Well, my lesson for yesterday was the one where you have to think of somebody you really don't like, and then you look at them and see them as pure light, and then you have to think of somebody you like a lot and do the same to them. And I couldn't believe how blooming apt it was, because I found I really didn't like this person very much at all, because I'd already done that for the person I really didn't like a couple of years ago and dealt with that. So it was a bit like well, let's do that one again, shall we? Yeah. I've been presented with this hate figure. I mean, I don't hate him. I just didn't really want to go to work with him today, or yesterday, or the day before. I'm going to go to work with him on Monday. He's going back to England on Monday. Yippee! So I've got a week off.
Thank you for sharing that workbook lesson. And I do want to give kudos to all of you that are studying the course on your own. You're all doing something with your course on your own in your personal experience. And then we have our supplement to the course with our group and everything else. And man, it's like we're the Power Rangers or something. We're just like, we're tapped in, tuned in, turned on.
I just watched that movie this week.
Oh, shoot. Well, take it away, bro. Forgiveness lesson. Last forgiveness lesson of the day. Nathan Lively.
So it was a terrible movie, so I had to forgive that. So I guess the thing I'll share this week is that a couple of my videos have gotten more traction this week than normal, which is a good thing for marketing and for the business, but is also means that there's, you know, more negative comments and positive comments. So a couple of the negative comments bothered me and stayed with me for a little while. And even though I'm pretty quick about forgiving those things, just because it's happened enough times that every time, like, I have to open like YouTube or Facebook or my email even, I already kind of have trained myself to be like, all right, I know something could happen here, so just, you know, be ready. So this particular comment I'm thinking of was just a total like personal attack, and the guy was like, I don't like this guy. Burr, burr, burr. I was like, shit, I hate you. But then, you know, pretty quickly I remembered to forgive. And even though it stuck with me and I could sort of feel it, you know, in my body festering, I just kind of kept observing it and kept forgiving. And Did the work.
Did the work. Way to go, Nathan.
Thanks.
Great forgiveness opportunities there with online people who can say whatever they want and be big bad rock star egos online. So great stuff. All right. Well, that concludes our time together this week. And next week we're going to discuss the last part of chapter 9. So the last 18 pages. And then after that, so the 11th of May will be the last part of chapter 9. And then the 18th of May, we'll discuss chapter 10, which is the end of the book. And then the 25th of May, we're going to have Gary Renard himself on the call.
Woo!
Woo!
I have to dab, man. I have to dab on that. So be ready for Gary Renard himself. He's going to want to know what your thoughts were on this book. So you're going to tell Gary what you liked, what you learned, what you didn't like. If there was anything, probably not.
Mhm.
But it's going to be cool. Who knows what's going to happen? Who knows how many people are going to be on? But that's what's happening. If you're watching this and you're not part of our private Facebook group, but you found us on YouTube, go look for us. We're Living A Course in Miracles audio book club. Although right now it's an actual book, not an audio book. But we are a club, and we meet every Friday at 7 p.m. Central. But you have to get into our Facebook group so you can actually access this call and be on it with us. And we would love to have you. So let's go ahead and finish the call by everyone saying good night and God bless.
Good night
Woo.
God bless.
and God bless.
God bless everyone. Have a good weekend.
Yeah, you too.
Bye. God bless.
Sure.
Bye.
See ya.